So I get a couple questions ahead of time when people asked about you put out a news release to tell people that there is some microscopic thing on the barcodes with some ballots, but the ballots will be counted. Can you just talk a little bit about what happened and what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. So for every election, we do a series of pre-election tests, including, sort of running ballots through our voting equipment to make sure that they will work. And we did that for this election with success, as we have done in every election. We always have a company that prints out and mails all of the vote by mail ballots. As you know, we have to mail a ballot to every active registered voter in the county. And so those ballots went out, and we had discovered once those ballots were starting to be returned that, at first, because we offer people the opportunity to scan the vote by mail in the precinct, we noticed that a lot of those ballots were being returned because the barcode could not be read. And rarely we found in the past that maybe someone folded the ballot a little bit too hard over the barcode, so we tried smoothing it out and it still wasn't working. But that has nothing to do with what we do at Central Count. When the same problem happened in Central Count, we went, oh, okay, wait a minute, and we called the voting machine vendor. They told us that there is something called ink overspray in the barcodes. So the reason that the barcodes are included on your ballot and why they're important, it has 3 different pieces of information that the voting equipment needs in order to tabulate. It has the ballot style, the precinct number, and the page number. That helps the machines detect where you marked. If it can't read any of those barcodes, then it basically thinks that it has a blank page and tells you we can't read one of the barcodes. So we called the Secretary of State and the voting machine vendor and the mail and print vendor. They're called Runback. And we all sort of did an analysis and came to the conclusion that it is the sort of print job. So the voting equipment works perfectly fine. It is the ink on some of these ballots, and because we cannot see it with the naked eye, we don't really know what percentage of ballots are affected. But the good news is that we have a plan moving forward. We discovered that there were other counties that had the same issue in past elections. And so after talking to them and after talking to, the round of experts that we had here in our office, we are going to go ahead and continue scanning the vote by mail ballots through. Whatever pages do not scan, we're going to pull those out and we're going to rescan them using ink and paper that will work. So, that process is going on now. And so, I think what's important for Nevada County voters to know is, one, I really want you to come in and observe. Come into our office or, log into our YouTube page where we have, cameras up and running in our operation. Come see what we're doing. I always welcome observers, but, I would, seriously encourage people to come in and do that. And second, please vote early. The whole process is going to take extra steps and extra time. So while I am confident that what is scanned is accurate and is going to be a reflection of voter intent, we just need to take more steps in order for every single vote to count. So you can expect that we will probably have counted fewer ballots than we normally would have on election night, and we will be working every day for extended hours to make sure that we all finish on December 3rd. By state law for this election, all counties must be certified by December 3rd. And I am confident at this point that we will be able to meet that deadline. It's just, one of those things where it is unexpected. We did everything right, and it just is something that we have to deal with. And, our partners at Runback, at Hardiner Civic, and at the Secretary of State have been phenomenal in supporting us. The county is helping us out with, sort of getting caught up. And my peers in other counties who I have talked to, and others around this country who I trust to give me advice, mostly on self-care, are all letting us know that what we need to do, and what my philosophy is the right one, which is be upfront and invite people in so they can see exactly what it is we're doing.
And speaking of self-care, I mean, for you, weekends are it's a distant thing in the past because, I mean, I just, before we came on, I just got a press release from Secretary of State announces vote centers will be opening for early in-person voting in 29 California counties, and you're one of them, right?
Yes.
So on Saturday, I believe, so there's no more weekends. So if people want to vote in person, they can come into the elections office and the Truckee Government Center.
Yeah, we're gonna have vote centers open on Saturday, and we'll be working every day through the election, and for our team through the certification process, with the exception of the Thanksgiving holiday. And even then, if if we need to, we will pivot. So yes, you can feel free to vote by mail. You can feel free to vote in person. Anything is on the table. I would encourage you, though, if you do choose to vote by mail, and if you already know what you're intending to vote for, I would ask you to please consider voting early so we can continue to process.
And I will absolutely add my plea to that, because as a reporter, we want significant results on election night. And, so the more people that drop off their ballots now, you will be able to do the whole signature verification, opening the everything, sorting it, and then um, if you have to contact the voter because the signature can't be read, then you have time to do that. And everybody's vote can be counted the way it should be counted, and we'll have accurate results. So now the speed is, well, I mean, how many people do you have in the elections office right now working on ballots?
Well, we've got all of our office temporary workers. There's 8 of them, plus our permanent staff. There's another 5 of us. We are getting some help from other county employees that are going to sort of help us with sort of really simple, straightforward, but a little repetitive parts of the process. That's just sort of the way elections are. And yeah, I mean, every part of our operation is running smoothly. Just this one part that I just described is going to be running slower than usual. But we have gotten all of our procedures down, and we're looking forward to continuing to process all your votes.
And so I got one question from people who said, well, I signed up to have my ballot tracked, and then it said, my ballot has been counted. Do you count votes now? I don't think so.
Well, we're processing them and getting them prepared so we can make our report. So, basically when Ballot Tracks notifies you that your ballot has been received, that is us saying, we gave you voting history as having voted. We go through this very detailed, rigorous process of making sure that, we are properly organizing ourselves when we extract your ballot from the identification envelope, making sure that, once that ballot is removed from that envelope, your vote is anonymous. We do not want to have anyone, especially, any member of the public, but, even us too, we don't keep track of how you voted. We just give you credit for voting.
So I get a gold star for voting, but
Yes.
okay.
And
But
once it is in our office,
But it doesn't mean that somewhere on some computer right now in your office, you are already counting votes and you have results. The tabulation only starts once the polls close, correct?
Right, right. And by then, we've got thousands of ballots already to tabulate as soon as the polls close on election night. So what I would do is, when you sort of look at our report, if you look at we post a couple of versions of the results. In the last election, we offered a map that sort of showed the results by precinct. But we also have a PDF with a report that shows what the results are. And in the top right corner, we'll have the total number of registered voters and how many ballots have been counted at that point. So, I would take a look at that number. One of the things that we hear quite a bit is, well, why are the results unofficial? Why don't you know? What I normally tell people is, we still have a lot to count because of the way state law is structured. We give people a lot of time to turn in their ballot. For example, the rule that you can have your ballot count if your mail is postmarked on or before election day and in our office on or before the 7th day after the election. I mean, we're still counting those. So we like to get as many ballots in as possible so you have a pretty good idea of what the results are going to be. The only time where you probably would not actually know what the ultimate outcome might be is if the election is really close. If it's like, within 100 votes or less, I would say that that's pretty close. But if the margin is real big, like, someone's winning by 30, 40 points, there's always a chance that it could change, but the likelihood of the ultimate result changing is probably pretty thin, the wider the margin is. So, we have a mantra, amongst elections officials all across the nation. You always want to hope for high turnout and wide margins. And in fact, there's a podcast by that name, and they talk about geeky stuff like election administration.
Well, and speaking of the ballots that come in late and that are being counted, well, there is this, well, let's call it an urban legend that provisional ballots are only counted when the race is really close.
That's not true. We don't make decisions on whether to count or not based on the margin. We count based on whether you are qualified to vote and whether you have cast one ballot for this election. So, for the most part, nowadays, people are voting provisionally because they're either, sort of trying to cast a ballot out of county, or they think that we made a mistake and, we have a record which we update in near real time saying, whether you voted or not. So occasionally someone will come in and say, well, I want to vote, and we'll check the record and we get a red light that says you already voted. And if the voter insists, we're not going to turn them away. There is always a chance that someone made an error. So, we will have you fill in a provisional, and we'll do research, during the elections canvas. That's the point in the elections process where we're, sort of doing our audits and verifying everything. If in our research we find that there was a mistake and you have not voted yet, then yeah, we'll open that up. And of course, we'll count that ballot. But if we have evidence that you already voted, then we will set that aside and say this voter already voted.
But it doesn't, yeah, but it's always this, oh yeah, no, they only count them when when it's really close. And I'm like, no, but glad.
Well, there is a voter bill of rights in California, and the voter bill of rights makes it clear that, if you are registered and you have not already voted in this election, then you absolutely have the right to vote. It is not contingent on how close a race is.
Oh, and well, while we're at it, let me see something. So just for our attendees, can you do tell us Well, mm-hmm. Wait, did you already vote? Yes or no?
I'm waiting with bated breath here.
Yeah, so far only one. So it's like, it would be nice to, okay, we're getting there.
It says host and panelists cannot vote.
Yeah, nope, nope, nope.
What's up with that?
And we have a 50-50 split. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
to the 50% of audience who has not returned their ballot yet, please vote early. If you don't want to make Natalie's life easier, please make my life easier to have results. And I don't have to hang out until at the elections office until Truckee comes in. And oh, by the way, I talked to the National Weather Service this morning, and they think that the various weather systems that are coming in will be very short-lived. And for now, and I mean, we're what, 10 or 12 days away, it looks like there will be no snow on the summit. So, yes, no snow on the summit and uh, no rain, and so it
How
should.
dare you give me hope? I mean, we will get the ballots no matter what.
Yes.
But yeah, snow in past elections has it has been,
Mm-hmm.
there's a process for getting through the snow, and thankfully we have a good partnership with our sheriff's office, and they help us get through the pass and get back safely.
Yeah, but it's always nice when the roads are clear and the brave souls from Truckee can come on down and bring everything they're supposed to bring, and it's not past midnight. That is, I mean, that's just me being very selfish, but um,
Absolutely. Yeah,
and
everyone feels better about that.
yeah, well, and I mean this year we are working to get results from other counties. I mean, there's two organizations in nationally that call elections and provide election results. The AP, of course, and Decision Desk HQ. So we're working with DDHQ, and I saw that DDHQ is actually following Nevada County as well. They will be publishing Nevada County results as well. So we'll have really nice graphics and everything, both for national, state, and then the local elections for Nevada, Placer, Sierra, and Yuba counties. So
Nice.
every county will have their own separate page, but I'm gonna be, of course, I'll be at the elections office at the Root Center, and we'll see we'll see if DDHQ actually beats me with publishing the Nevada County results, because normally it's pretty easy. Because so for those who don't know, the media, we have a spot that Natalie makes available for us. So we sit there, and then we, of course, like everyone else, wait for the results. And generally, she comes walking in and has paper copies. It's paper copies, and handing the paper copies to the media, and then we all sit there and either on the phones or furiously typing the results in, and that's how the results get out. And then we try to get results out, make them not make any typos, because but you can, if you don't want to wait, you can go on the county website, and you of course you have the results by precinct with the very cool maps. Yeah, by precinct, and then what else so there's the normal, just okay, here's how many ballots we counted,
Mhm.
the results.
Yeah, and by contest.
By contest, yes, of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're only interested in like the presidential contest, then yeah, you can, sort of just take a look at that.
Yeah,
I hope that everyone is interested in all of the contest, because they all, sort of impact us as voters in some way. But the candidates in particular kind of care about their race.
Yes. Yes.
So they'll have a tendency to focus on that, for the voters who don't run for office, then it's whichever one. But yeah, we've got quite a few federal, state and local contests on the ballot. I'm sure, as you know, if you are a voter, you have your voter information guides and you have your ballot. So yeah, it's a lot of important choices to make.
Hmm. And we have Laura who said she was waiting for this presentation and says thank you for actually coming and answering the questions. Hey, what happens if a voter, well, if you make a mistake? If I spilled my coffee on the ballot, probably even really fancy machines can't read um, the ballot. So what happens if I made a mistake and when I change my mind twice or whatever, uh, can I vote again?
So you have a couple of options. Sometimes when we get ballots by mail, there are things on the ballot that we kind of go, okay, what could this be? Sometimes it's not helpful to guess, but every once in a while, like, we'll get like coffee rings on the ballot or, little scratch marks or something that looks like barf splatter or blood or
Oh.
things that will, make us sort of put on some gloves before we handle the ballot. And as long as that's is as long as it is not interfering with those barcodes, they'll generally go through. If you make a mistake, like, I accidentally marked yes when I really meant to mark no, you could ask us for another copy of your ballot, and we're happy to go ahead and suspend the ballot that we had issued you originally and then reissue you a new one. That just means that, especially with vote by mail, if we were to get that ballot later on, our system would say, hey, this ballot has been canceled. You should not count that one. So you could also, if you mismark your ballot, you could, if you're doing vote by mail, give us a little note in there that, sort of clearly indicates what your intent is, but please don't sign your name by it. Some people think that, signing their name is going to legitimize that kind of change. And what it effectively does is it forces us to remake your ballot because you can't have personal identifying information. The whole point of our system of voting, in part, is to make sure that your vote is anonymous. And, your ballot is also the paper record of the election. We would have to make an exact copy of your ballot, of course, without your name on it, so we could count that one. But yeah, it just, write yes or no, or say, I wanted this one, and, point, like make an arrow next to your real choice. We do adjudicate those on occasion. And yeah, so if you make that kind of mistake, and if you're using vote by mail, you have that option. If you do that in person at the precinct, don't do that. Ask for a new copy, because it will come up as an overvote, and that contest will not count. The rest of the stuff will, but that contest where you overvoted will not count.
And speaking of the polling bit, the vote centers, so in Nevada County, any voter who wants to vote in person can go to any vote center and vote there.
Yep, absolutely.
Is it so? I have to take my ballot, that you mailed me with me?
You don't have to, because we have a record of what we sent you. And, like I said before, we can suspend that last ballot, or, that's our way of saying we canceled that last ballot. But some people feel more comfortable just, sort of bringing it in, and we're happy to take that, and we'll write spoiled on there. You might notice that we put marks in the barcodes just to make double sure that it cannot go through. But yeah, you could go ahead and, sort of give it to us. We're happy to, sort of put it away in someplace safe where no one else can use it. No one else can see what you tried to mark anywhere. We take great care to make sure that your choices remain private.
And again, it's one ballot. You don't get to vote. Let's say, well, for example, I have a Nevada City zip code. And I mean, Nevada City is not on the ballot this time, but I can go and use a vote center in Nevada City. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get a ballot where I all of a sudden can vote for Nevada City Council because I don't have a 3-digit address. You will get the ballot that you are supposed to get with the contest and the races that are in whatever precinct I am in, right?
Right. So when we assign you a ballot, it is based on your residential address. It is not based on where you get your ballot. So let's say, so I live in Grass Valley, and let's say I wanted to vote in person here at the Rood Center. I would not get a Nevada City contest just because I'm in Nevada City. I would get the ballot that I'm entitled to. And so, before we even make the ballots, we use a whole bunch of maps and, sort of using, those maps, we create what's called the street index. And basically we use street ranges that are within those district boundaries to determine what contests should appear on your ballot. So, you could, live up here in Nevada City or, live in Truckee and, go vote, down in South County, and your ballot, because we looked you up, we will give you the contest that you are entitled to get. Because, I mean, if you're, if you live in South County, what point is it getting contests in Truckee? Not only is there no point because you don't live there, but you actually don't have a right to vote on those contests. You see what I'm saying? And some people, try to tell us, well, I just want to vote for president. It doesn't matter. You have to have some bounds for, what ballot and, under what circumstances that you are able to vote. And we track all of that stuff. So, residential address when you register is a very important feature of the voting system. That's why we return a registration card to you if you put as your residential address a P.O. box. I don't care how small you are, you can't fit in one. And some people have multiple residences. When I say residence, under the law, that means domicile. And that means that you intend to live there, you intend to remain there, that is your place. So, under the law, you can have many residences, but you can only have one domicile at a time. When the voter registration card asks you where you live, they want your domicile. And that registration card is an attestation. It's an affidavit under penalty of perjury that all of the information is true and correct that you are giving to us. And that is what we will base, what ballot you get is on that information on that registration card.
Yeah, that's so basically your ballot will follow you around no matter where you vote.
That's right.
Well, you know what? Unless there is any question that somebody wants to put in the Q&A, we are at the 30-minute, well, actually at the 31-minute mark. So,
oh dear.
Oh yeah, I'm just, hey, I promised a short webinar, and I know you're busy and you have been sitting for half an hour, which is, hey, that's pretty good.
And my mind hasn't hit a wall yet, so that's good.
It's good. Very good. You know what? Apparently we've solved and answered all the questions, and
Nice.
everything, so cool. So
I'm sure that there will be more. So, if anyone online or anyone who's watching later wants to reach out to us because there's a question you didn't think of or a question that we did not address, please do, reach out to us. You can call us. We're at 530-265-1298. You can email us at elections.mail@Nevada or nevadacountyca.gov. Ooh, starting to hit that wall. Or you can come in person here at our headquarters. We're at 950 Maidu Avenue, Suite 210. If you'd like to vote, we'll be down in the Providence Mine Room. That's still on the second floor. If you're in Truckee, we'll be in Prosser Room. So please do vote. Please consider voting early. That would be a great help to us, and it'll free up your Tuesday, November 5th to do all the other things that are happening in your life. And yeah, it's always great to join you.